If you're not making sales on Etsy, or maybe not as many sales as you'd like, it all boils down to two main problems that need to be addressed. Let's talk about what those are and how to fix them. Howdy friends, my name is Abby. This is Type 9 Studio, where I help you start and grow your Etsy shop into a small business, and I've been a full-time seller on Etsy for over 1.5 years. If you want to know how to get more views that turn into sales, then keep on watching to the end. No, seriously, the last one. This is going to be a 2-part series, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the second part. And if it's already up by the time you're watching this, I will link it in the description. Even if it is, you should subscribe anyways, because I make new videos about Etsy twice a week. So let's start with the obvious. You need eyeballs on your shop to make sales. The same thing with a brick and mortar store, right? You can't make any sales if nobody walks in the door. Part of your job on Etsy is to make sure that your products get recommended in the search and also on the homepage and in the Etsy app. Of course, some of your views can come from things like social media or paid ads, whether the ads are through Etsy or, Facebook or whatever. But those are not essential. You can have a very successful Etsy shop without paying for ads, ever. And it's actually preferable to the Etsy algorithm to let Etsy drive the traffic for you instead of doing it yourself. So there are 4 things that are affecting your visibility on Etsy, and I'm going to rank them from least likely to most likely. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this starts before you even make a listing. Yeah, we're going there. A hard lesson that a lot of businesses will learn is that just because you have a product to sell, that doesn't mean people are just going to buy it. Thankfully, making an Etsy listing of just one item, like that's handmade, will cost you very little, the cost of supplies and 20 cents to make the listing. So it's relatively low risk to try out your handmade stuff on Etsy. This does not mean that just because you're not getting views, your product is bad. There are a lot of other factors as well, but this is just number 1. Least likely reason, but you need to make sure that there is actually a demand for your product. So for this, you need to ask yourself, are there similar products for sale on Etsy already? And are those shops making sales? If the answer to those is no, then you might want to rethink. Might. So number 2, the slightly more likely reason that you're not getting views is your quality score. I discussed the quality score in detail in a previous video, so I won't take too much time here. But quality score is basically a pretty big factor in how Etsy determines search ranking. Yeah, your SEO matters a little bit to an extent. So SEO is your things like title, tags, description, which I mentioned in that video also. But those things really only tell Etsy what the item is. SEO does not really determine where your item is ranked. So the only problem you could really have with your SEO is that it's not clear what your product actually is. So Etsy doesn't know where to put it. Like I discussed in that video about quality score and SEO, there are factors outside of your actual listing that go into it. So things like your info being complete, like your info and about sections, your reviews, your conversion rate, if you ship on time, if you're active in the shop, things like that. Many people, including myself when I started my shop, make the same mistake that you think that you can just set it and forget it on Etsy, put some listings on there and leave it alone, which I'm sure you figured out by now if you're watching this video that that doesn't work. So number 3 is pretty important as well for mostly for other reasons that we'll talk about in the next video, but your photos could affect your visibility as well. If you've done some shopping on Etsy yourself, you may have noticed, especially if you use the app, that sometimes they only show the photo. They do not show the title, your shop name, your reviews, or even the price. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'm going to say it again in the next video. Your photos and the video are the only opportunity your customers have to experience the product, because they can't see it and touch it in person. And the photo, especially the main photo that shows up in the search results, is your first impression. So if it's not immediately clear what the product is, or it's not enticing enough to get them to click on it, they're just going to keep scrolling. But there is a number 4. Number 4. Most people don't want to hear this, and they're going to push back. Almost everyone that hears this pushes back on it. It is what it is. But this is the biggest reason that you are not getting views. Are you ready? Are you sure? The biggest reason that you're not getting views on Etsy is the number of items in your shop. And think about it. There are 96 million listings on Etsy at the time I'm recording this. That doesn't mean there's too much competition though, don't get me wrong about that. Since there were over 80 million users on Etsy at the end of 2020, so there's even more now. But there are only 4 million active sellers. So if you do the math on that, that is approximately 24 listings per shop. I wouldn't say that's like the median or the average necessarily, but it gives you an idea of, like, if you have less than 20 items, not good. So just based on sheer probability, the more items you have for sale, the more likely they are to be seen. So those are the 4 main issues. Now let's move on to how to fix them. Again, it's likely not the first one, but it's worth checking anyways. It can seem like you've struck a gold mine on Etsy if you have very low competition, but that could also mean not many people are searching for it. If there is competition out there, like more than 1,000 or 2,000 or so other listings, how can you make your product better than theirs? Could you have better photos to make it stand out in the search more? More features, more options. So please don't scrap your listings if you think it's this one. Just keep that in mind when you add new products or want to research new products to add to your shop. And who knows, if you have something that nobody else on Etsy has, it might get popular and you could strike it big. Number 2 is fairly easy to check as well. Just pick one of your listings or one of your search terms, your categories that you have, and go into an incognito browser, because the search also takes into account your personal search history. So you want to start fresh with an incognito browser and then just type in like your main keyword. Sometimes the keywords that you come up with are not exactly what somebody else would use, or maybe you need to be more specific. You should always use the long tail keywords. Internet users in general know that just typing one word into search, like on Google or Etsy or Amazon or something, is not going to be specific enough to get what they want. So they know they have to use like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 words. So when you do the search, you want to make sure that the search term brings up items that are similar to yours. If not, that could be the problem. If they are similar to your product and your listings are just really far down in the search, this could be improved by your quality score and also number 4, having more listings. Your quality score can be improved a bit by just working on some things in your shop. So make sure your about section is filled out, you ship any orders that you do get on time, do something in your shop daily, whether that's adding a new listing or updating an old listing, changing your announcements, stuff like that. Make sure to ask your customers to leave a review because reviews count for it. And the quality score of that item will improve significantly when you make a sale. For the photos, if you're like me, you might spend a lot of time trying to make sure you think they're perfect, and then you kind of forget how other people might see them. So for the listing as a whole, for your conversion rate, which we're going to talk about again in the next video, you want to make sure you have all 10 photos and a video. But for now, for increasing your views, you want to focus on the main photo. I've seen a lot of listings, a lot, like I would almost say 50% of the listings on Etsy, like at least the things that I search for and shop for, it's obvious that they have taken a square or vertical photo and tried to use it as their main photo. It doesn't work. Etsy won't get with the times and do square photos for the, like, no other platform uses horizontal photos. But I mean, when you take your photos, especially when you're doing the main photo, make sure you take it horizontally, or at least from a very wide angle so you can crop it to horizontal dimensions. The main photo looks best at 2000 by 1600 pixels, and if you try to upload a photo that is square or vertical, Etsy will crop it. You can click on it and adjust it a little, but from my experience, it doesn't always accept your change. And that doesn't always help anyways, because if it's taken in a square or vertical format, it's going to get cut off somewhere. So it's best to upload it to the correct size in the first place so it doesn't get cropped. You absolutely have to make sure that your product is the star of the photo. Remember, you're not selling your backdrop, you're not selling the table that it's on, you're not selling any props that are in the photo, you're selling the product. So it should stand out and contrast with the background. So don't use any like busy patterns that may be distracting or any colors that are too similar to the product. And if you're not sure that your photo clearly shows what the item is, you can show it to a family member or a friend and ask them what they think it is. And obviously make sure it's well lit and clear and all that, you know. And the answer to number 4 is simply to make more listings. I know you're gonna have to suck it up. That supersedes the other 3 reasons for the vast majority of shops, like 99% at least. Any shop of any size will see the benefit of adding new listings regularly. Not only does that give you more visibility in search, but it boosts your quality score by being active regularly, and it helps you to see what works and what doesn't. And let me tell you a secret. you can't sell what you don't have for sale. So if you want to make a full-time income from your Etsy shop and you don't have enough products to sell to make that happen, it's not going to work. I completely understand that adding new listings takes money, but trust me, it is well worth it. This is like the golden ticket to success on Etsy, is having a lot of listings. I have an entire video about that as well. I will link it in the description. But as long as you're adding new listings at least a couple times a week, if you can't do once a day, you're golden. But those listings still need to be good quality, so don't just like throw stuff and not do your SEO and description, all that stuff, because that's also important for the next part of this. So those were the 4 main reasons that you may not be getting views on Etsy. Look out for a part 2 where we discuss how to turn those views into sales. And if you watched this whole video and you haven't subscribed or hit the like button yet, you might as well. I have new videos all about Etsy every Wednesday and Saturday. For more Etsy tips and other content, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Type9Studio. I also have a Ko-Fi at Type9Studio as well. And you can go there if you want a shop review, so I will take a look at your shop and give you some suggestions on how to improve. That is it for me today. I will see you in the next video and in the comments. Goodbye.